Okay, so this is Sprint R, September 20th, 2019, and we're reviewing some of the stabilizing work that went into Qri Desktop for the last 2 weeks since Sprint Q.
Cool. You guys can see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm running in dev mode on master, but I have a little list of some of the demoable front-end features, and we'll switch over to Casey. And then I also want to show something that didn't make it in, but we spent a lot of time on this week, which is meta. So we'll start with the little stuff. So the first one is this pre-published modal. So I have a data set that I was ready to publish, but this didn't exist before. It just published before. So now it gives you a little thing that says, this is gonna reminds you of the name of your data set, because this is important, especially before you publish. Publishing will make your data set visible on the internet, and then I publish. And there it goes. We get a nice little toast, and the UI changes, so I can click the cloud. And there it is.
Yay!
All right. And then while we're here, I might as well unpublish. So unpublishing is not the button itself, but it's in this little drop down. I don't know if this was this or last, but this is how we unpublish. And we have a nice little convenience feature of copying the link. So let's unpublish it now. And then there's another modal that says you're going to unpublish. So anyway, this is the start. We can make the messages better over time. So that's the publish modal. Okay, commit components less Y. So on the history tab, we were wasting a lot of space. This pane used to be draggable. So you can make it wider, but we realized there's no reason to make it wider because it's only ever going to show the names of the components and the little status thingies. So now it's fixed width. So this one I can drag, but the commit component list I cannot drag. So little improvement. Improvements to create data set modal. So I'm going to do command N. Or I could have also, let's see, I could have also clicked on new data set button, which is, I think that's good too. It's layout here. Which is these two buttons are now a little more prominent. They used to look like tabs, so that was an improvement. And then we also moved this, like, you have 6 data sets thing to the bottom. So the data set list in general is a little nicer. And then inside the new data set, so yeah, we refactored this a little bit. Things like choose buttons kind of laid out. We redid some of the wording here. It's got tooltips now. And yeah, I think we usually tested this during the pre-dev call, and there's still fusion, so I think there's still plenty of work to do to get this cleaner, but it's just kind of like, what is the directory tab, what is the name, what's going to happen when I actually create a data set. So that's that. Nudge new users to commit. I think I need to give me just a moment here. I'm going to reset my state. Toggle developer tools. So we have a little message inside the sidebar tell you, hey, you're ready to make your first commit. Hide commit nudge. So that's where it sets it in local storage. Let's see if I can get a commit nudge. Sorry for a second. Actually, here, let's make a new data set. So I will choose on my desktop dummy.csv. And oh goodness, that's another bug. You see what happened there?
Yeah.
If you let go of the mouse over here while dragging, it will close.
Yeah.
We gotta fix that. I think there's an issue for that. Okay, dummy CSV. Okay, carefully drag, not real data. Choose the directory path. This one. Data sets. Oops. Open, create data set. And look, there's our nudge. So you're ready to make your first commit on this data set, verify the body and meta are accurate, enter a commit message, and click submit. If I dismiss this, it'll set in my local storage and never show it to me ever again. So this is just kind of a UI or UX thing for new users to call their attention down to this commit thingy over here. Removing data sets. So that's new. That's a big one. So to remove a data set, I can now right click and hit remove. Let's find one that I want to remove. This one has no commits. This one does have commits that are not real. So go back in here and right click and say remove you. Are you sure? And do I also want to remove the datasets files?
Yeah.
And this gives me a nice little feedback that like this is exactly what I'm going to delete. I'm not sure where we are on this actually. Does it delete the whole, it doesn't delete the whole directory? Does it delete the whole directory? No, I think what we're going for is that it will delete the whole directory if there's nothing else in it besides query stuff, and if there is, then it will only delete the files. I don't know how far we've gotten on that, but I think that's where we're going, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's hit remove. Okay, it's gone. I feel like this is a regression because it was switching over. So right now this is still the active data set, even though it's not there anymore on the list. I think we might need to do some more work there.
It should be the when you delete.
It should go to the like you don't have a data set selected.
Yeah, so when you delete, it should, we should be catching the delete and the reducer in the,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty sure this worked last week, so something might have changed, but yeah, it should totally should put you back into this like selected. Or sorry, if it's not something that is currently active, it should do that. Or yeah, if you delete a data set that is not a selected data set, nothing will happen. If you delete one that's currently selected, it should take you somewhere else. Okay. Windows OS menu. Oh, sorry. Dataset list items. Oh, that's just this. So we added unlinked gets an icon now. Everything else doesn't get an icon because most of them will be linked. So we got rid of all the folder clutter. Added a little icon here for file, which we may change, but we just wanted to sort of free up the space to have something there so that these look more like list items. That's that. And then, yeah, I think, oh yeah, the title and subtitle. So here we have the dataset name, like pure name / name or username / name. And then if there's a meta title, we'll show it under here, a smaller sort of subtext. So like these ones don't have any meta. That's like a quick, quick reminder that I should go like complete the meta on these data sets and make them a little more, make them more whole, more complete. Okay, Windows OS menus. We can't demo that, of course, because we don't have Windows, but we did spend like a good chunk of time getting the the basic functionality set up with Windows as well. And I want to show meta editing, but maybe we'll look at Casey stuff first. But I do want to show hot reloading, which is kind of cool. So this is not really a feature for the app, but it's a feature for us in development. So, for example, I was very happy to get this out. We pull request on hot reloading like 2 weeks ago. It didn't actually fix it. Now this time we did fix it. So let's say, for example, I want to change this data set. The header is got this blue background, and I want to change it to orange. Let's see back over. So if I come in here under dataset, that's SAS, and I've got this like blue color in the background, and I say orange. I save, and I'm not going to reload the server or do anything. Just a moment. Look at that. Okay, and then the same thing is I can change, let's say I want to change the submit button text in the commit box. See if I can find it. Where's that text? Submit. It would be in save form. Where's save form? Actually, let's just go to save form.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right.
Go 59.
No, that's not it.
Oh.
No, that is it. Okay. So, come on. Say, for example, I want to do, this should now say, oh, hi, there. I hit save. I'm not touching anything else. Let's see how long it takes. But no flash, no reload. You should see it change. You might see a flash, but you definitely won't see a reloading of the whole app. Does it have to be active? Maybe it has to be active. Oh, there it goes.
It must have to be active.
I guess it
right?
must have to be active. Okay. But anyway, that will save us a lot of cycles and a lot of keystrokes. Okay, so you want to show, you want to take over?
Sure.
I will stop sharing.
And oh, let me join audio. I'm going to turn my audio on. Are you guys? Can I unmute? Okay. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the main, so a lot of what happened in the last 2 weeks, I don't know if you can notice, if you watch the last demo versus this one, there's a lot more stabilization. So there's a lot of refactoring we did to the reducers, the actions, the state tree, to have everything align a lot more nicely. For example, like we saw that bug just now where when you delete, it should clear the session, like it should clear the selections. Now, because a lot of the mechanisms in the back are a lot simpler, immediately I knew exactly how to fix it. It's a small fix rather than having to search for where the cause is. So I'm really pleased with a lot of the back end, sort of the like skeleton progress, the progress we've made in refactoring there. So a lot of stabilization. One thing I wanted to point out is we have Circle CI running and we have our first tests. We have one end-to-end test that we can run locally that will actually open up, actually could probably show it happening. Should we turn on?
Go for it. Yeah, it's demo time.
Okay, let's see. All right, well, first I'm going to screen share, which is the thing that they even make it have like a nice green, wait, I guess I'll just share my desktop. And I can't see what's going on here because the thing's in the way. All right, let's get out of this. And let's see, I believe yarn test, oh, I have to build. Oh wait, no, sugar. The E2E tests have been failing. And I don't know why, but they worked a week ago. They've been failing on my machine. Do you want to try and see if they work on your machine? And I'll just show the, because we have an end-to-end test, and then we have a bunch of tests on, like integration tests that, I don't know, to contest individual, right now they're mostly testing our utility functions and a couple of the reducers. So,
Here, switch back over to me.
yeah, it's working?
No, I've been trying.
Oh, okay.
But let's see if it works on my machine.
Okay, stop sharing.
Okay.
And I'm muting.
Okay, ready? Git checkout master. Make sure we have everything. Oh, we did. Okay. What? Just yarn test?
You should build first. You should build first because the test pulls from the build, not
the
yarn build.
yarn build. Okay. Oh, because it's going to run.
Yeah. So it pulls. Yeah, it uses the productionalized version. Yeah. So that's something exciting. We have it set up. I don't know. Am I heard? Rico, can you hear me? Mm-hmm. Oh, so we have it also set up on Circle CI. So whenever someone sends a pull request or creates a pull request, that branch will get automatically tested. It tests all of our integration tests and makes sure there's no linting errors, and will give us a nice little yeah. So those show what's passing and what's not. So that's fun. We're also on CodeCov. All of our reports from our tests that end up on Circle CI get pushed to CodeCov. And yeah, let's see.
Still waiting for the building.
You're waiting. If you want to switch back for a sec, I could show the integration test from.
Sure. We'll unshare. Stop share. And I'm muting.
Okay, so if we run, so I'm on a branch here, so I actually pushed a bunch more tests recently, so we'll see how they do. So if I just do yarn test, it'll just run Jest will just run the integration test and show me the coverage. So yeah, success.
Yeah.
We have 90 tests. Okay, how are you doing there, Chris?
Okay.
We're good? Okay, I'm stopping and muting.
So what's the command? Is it yarn?
It's yarn test dash ED.
E2.
E with the number 2E.
Come on, Twister.
Yeah, man.
So close.
So close. Let's see. What else? What other? I do want to show the API non-responding error.
You want to take it back?
Yeah.
Take it back. Okay, you got it.
No, okay, there we go. All right, so I wanted to show a couple of things. One was we have two new screens, sort of. One is if you have no data set selected, it will show you the no data set selected screen, which I think we might have seen already.
I don't think we saw.
Okay, all right, so.
You can delete your local storage entry just to throw it into the statement.
Yeah, well, I created a new, I have a new query backend set up here. So I'm going to query connect on this fresh backend. And then I'm just going to launch the dev version. And let's see where it shows up. The noises of that. And then the other screen that we have that's new is when you didn't have any data sets, you would be put into this state where I can't tell where is it happening? Oh, here we go. So it used to put you in this weird thing if you had no data sets on your machine. That would block out all the functionality because it would be a screen like this. We've moved that into a smaller pane that still allows you to see all the other options and things that are out there in our app, but disables the things that you can't actually do yet. So let's get started. I'm going to have Fox test. I think I'm up to user 23. Oh yeah, look at that.
Form validation.
And take me a query. Oh, sugar. I've already had 23, but look, it tells you that it's already been taken. Okay, great. So you see here, these are all the different these are some of the things that will show up when you do have a data set, but right now they're all grayed out. And you still get your tooltips to know like what the functionality would actually be. Choose a data set because we don't have any data sets. Normally this screen will show you what data set you have selected. And when you come here, it lets you know, hey, when you have data sets, this is where they're going to go. You have 0 local data sets. So you can either add from here or create or add from here. So I'm just going to create. I'm going to just do some dummy stuff here. And I'll call this test demo. And I want it to be in my datasets folder. I'm going to create the dataset. And it did a whole bunch of things, which are much cleaner than what it used to be. Again, like Chris already demoed this, but we have our nice commit thing. We can switch back from body and meta, and it lets us know there's no history. Now there is actually one data set in the list. And what was I going to say? What was the other thing that, okay, so now, beautiful, this works. What happens if the backend disconnects? So let's show that here. Oh, come on, get out of there. All right. So I'm disconnecting the backend here, and let's see. I can click around like normal, do some stuff, but oh no. Oh look, the backend disconnected. We give it a little bit of time to see if it'll start over again before we automatically show the user that it's disconnected. But now if I connect again, we're back. Yay! That's the main thing that I wanted to show, along with a lot of the stabilization. So cool. Thanks. I'm gonna stop sharing.
Okay, here we go. Yarn test.
Dash EDD.
Dash?
Mm-hmm.
Just one dash?
Yeah. Oh no, so it's all one word. Test dash EDD.
Ah.
Yeah.
edbspec.ts.
Ah! That's awesome.
That's great.
So,
All right. Onboarding. Created.
oh, that's so funny. This should fail. It should fail because we removed the no datasets page. Ah, I love it.
Okay, that's that.
Oh,
Okay,
so
so
fun.
anyway, we know, yeah, it's setting up, it's actually running the app and like pretending to be the user and typing stuff in. And that's great. So now we can continue building on that for our happy path and anything else we have. Okay, I'm gonna show my work on the meta editor.
Yeah,
I
please.
spent like 3 days and the most fun parts of web development, form creation, and form on change events and all that sort of stuff. And just some like need for like custom input UI, which is like always a joy. So let's see what we can get here. I do have one data set that I have like a fully built out meta object, so let's see if we can find that.
I just am so pumped with how much fewer things are breaking.
Yeah.
Like things are doing things the way you expect them to.
Yeah,
in a lot of cases. It's awesome.
I wish this would build faster.
Yeah.
Come on. There we go. Come on, Qri Desktop. There we go. Okay, let's close these DevTools. All right. Yeah. So each of these meta components has tooltips. So basically, there's a new meta editor component. And if we actually go, well, I can show you now, but go to history, it'll basically look the same as it always has with this table view, which we actually pulled from the Qri front end. So that code lives on. But here, this is like a new UI. So this is basically a list of inputs, and some of them are regular, like little text inputs like this one, but they all have a tooltip. So, data set title, This one is a new text area. So now you have like a full, 4 lines or 3 lines, I think it is, of writing a free long description. If you really want to, of course, just, this is default behavior, but you can always drag that and make it bigger. So theme, here's a new component. So this is a custom thing that we built where we can just start adding tags. So I can say foo, and if I hit enter, bar as hello. This also works with commas. So I can say my and then do comma, name, comma. Actually, we did some user testing on this with Casey, so I can close these. Can't rearrange them right now, but that's something we're either going to punt on or maybe implement soon. But she typed in hello and then moved to the next entry, and it just left it in the input without actually making the tag. So after we hallway tested that, we realized like people may not know that they have to hit enter, hit comma to actually make the tag. So when it loses focus, it'll make the tag now. So keywords is the same thing. Hello world. Whoops.
Does a period or a dot mean?
No. And I'm actually just now noticing that tab does take me out to the next thing, which feels weird. I kind of want a tab also to make these things exist. So anyway, we'll keep working on that. Okay, license is a new widget. So this is just a drop down with a bunch of predefined options in it. But behind the scenes, it's not just the string of the license, it's a URL also. I can just choose a license, but it keeps track of that for me, and we can add more licenses to that. And maybe expand upon that to like give you more info that you can click on about what the license actually is. So lots of places we can go there. Contributors. These are now contributors and citations are 2 new inputs that actually make little lists with multiple values in them. So if I hit add contributor, I can now say ID is Chris Wong, name is Chris Wong, and email is Chris@qri.io, and then I can add another one below it and say foo, bar, baz, but now look at this thing. It's a little handle.
Yeah.
And I can rearrange them, and it's actually, it's rearranging their order in the array behind the scenes.
Cool.
We've also got a little close guy or delete guy over here, so we can just get rid of these. So pretty nice flow there. Same thing for citations, and then the rest are all just text. So
we haven't really talked about this, I don't think, but in the future world, once I type in contributor's ID, is that going to start looking through the registry for people who match that name?
Well, I don't know, actually. That's a good thing we should talk about is like, does this mean contributor in query world, or is it just freeform, enter what you want? I see a strong use case for the latter, where you just want to list people. So the model of contributor, I don't know, I'm not really sure where that came from, but like, I think there's like a very clear, I think there's a clear path for like the way GitHub does it, where it's like, we actually know everyone who has a commit on this, and like that's query's identity for that person, but there can also just be, meta, which is like who actually helped make this data set.
I asked that in part today because my expected behavior would be something like, aside from their name, I don't know what their ID is.
Yeah.
I assume that's a query thing.
No, I don't know. Yeah, we should answer that question. Okay, so that's meta editing. It's not quite in yet. We're waiting on need some backend to receive the API request, and then some more tweaking of these components. But they're all there.
Yay!
And I think that's all I got.
I'm happy to see
pumped.
Yeah. So yeah, remember in July when we were whiteboarding like a new UI for the front end?
Yeah.
So, here
I'm pumped. Cool.
that's that. I think that's
I think
that.
that might be that. All the other things that I wanted, quote unquote, demo or things that we did are things that like the demo is that it works smoothly.
Yeah.
Didn't error.
Cool. So S is next then.
All right.
Yeah, let's go ahead. Okay, cool.
Cut.